Well, tonight, a community will come together to remember a 14-year-old murder victim. Andres Gutierrez is live with the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime this morning. Andres?
Good morning, Cynthia. The Ad Hoc Group Against Crime is going ahead and organizing tonight's vigil. They're also offering a reward to help find whoever killed the 14-year-old girl. On Sunday evening, a man spotted Alexis Cain's body while he was crossing through the Bay Water parking lot. Police officers found Cain face down with 8 shell casings nearby. She was a child that was in the 8th grade at Smith Hale Middle School and was a member of the school's anti-violence program. Her principal does plan to place a stone with her name in the school's memorial garden. The Kansas City Crime Stoppers tells me that they have received tips in the case, and now the Ad Hoc Group is also offering $1,000 to whoever calls in a tip that leads to an arrest. The vigil happening tonight is set for 6 o'clock. They are encouraging for people to bring candles. Reporting live in Kansas City's east side, Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.
The roads you drive every day could be shut down rather than fixed. That's because MoDOT says they don't have enough money to maintain them. New at 10, Garrett Hake explains the tough decisions they now have to make.
Yeah, Krista, with MoDOT under an unprecedented budget crunch, they've decided to split the roads they control into 2 separate groups. Primary roads like I-70 will still see the same maintenance and care that they always have, but thousands of other miles of roads, including Highway 71, where we are right now, will see significantly less maintenance, and MoDOT warns could deteriorate or even be closed.
This bridge just turned 60 last year.
Underneath the Broadway Bridge, signs of wear and tear are beginning to show.
We've done some rehab projects over the years.
But under a plan proposed by MoDOT today, any major repairs will have to wait.
We can't take care of the entire 34,000-mile system as it exists today, so we got some tough choices.
Missouri's highway upkeep is mainly funded through a gas tax not raised in 20 years. Gas prices keep falling, and starting in 2017, MoDOT will no longer have access to millions in federal stimulus dollars for highway and bridge repairs. That means less money for the same amount of roads. To compensate, MoDOT is designating 8,000 miles of state roads as primary roads to get the same amount of care as always. The other 26,000 miles will get only minimal upkeep.
Right here where we're standing, the Broadway Bridge will not be on the primary system. Heart of America will not be on the primary system.
That means they'll receive only minor repairs, like filling potholes. As roads and bridges degrade over time, if more money can't be found, they may have to be closed.
We can maintain them the best we can, as long as we can, but at some point we will have to protect everyone's safety, and ultimately bridges will have to be shut down.
Now, MoDOT says that none of these closures would happen anytime soon, if at all, but that the funding problem is very real. Missouri, it turns out, has the 7th most highway miles of any state and is 46th in the amount of money spent per mile. Reporting live on 71 Highway, Garrett Hake, 41 Action News.
Dangerous breed. The label cost an 88-year-old Gladstone man his dog, but as Shannon Halligan reveals, a stranger stepped in to get his dog back.
A woman saw the elderly man lose his dog in court, so she started this website to try and help him get his dog back, and in less than 24 hours, they're well on their way.
He's not only man's best friend, but for an 88-year-old Gladstone man, his dog Bella was his only friend.
She saw this guy upset that he was losing his dog, and the guy's an older gentleman, about 88 or so. It's pretty much like his only friend in the world.
Jessica Pierce couldn't stand to see this man, who she didn't know, crying to get Bella back. The dog is a pit bull mix, so under Gladstone ordinance, he's a dangerous dog. They're not banned, but owners have to comply with the rules. And according to Gladstone police, animal control warned Bella's owner he wasn't in compliance a couple of times.
So they had given him a warning, a notice to come and comply with the ordinance, and a copy of the ordinance at that time. They had recontact with him again in December.
According to the ordinance, owners must register the dog, have a secure confinement, and liability insurance of $300,000 for bodily injury or death. Jessica and Ryan said the man lives on Social Security now, so they adopted Bella until they can get her owner the insurance required.
We're looking to get him homeowners insurance for the next 10 years, so hopefully he doesn't have to deal with this again.
And Gladstone police say they hope that happens.
Yes, if he meets the requirements of the ordinance, yes, he sure can have his dog back.
Well, Jessica set a goal of about $5,000 for the insurance coverage, and as you can see, they're about halfway there. Live in the studio, Shannon Halligan, 41 Action News.
You can now aid in the search for missing children in your area just by checking your Facebook. The social media website has teamed up with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to deliver Amber Alerts to users in targeted search areas. The popular site will post any identifying details and photo to news feeds and allow users to share it on their own timeline. Local law enforcement told us this is a necessary step to safely recovering missing children.
That's a step that's needed to be taken for a long time. Especially since social media has gotten so popular, because the whole point about getting the information out is to get it to as many people in the area as possible to try to trigger somebody who has seen something or potentially seen something to call in to safely recover that child. And what better way to do that than utilize social media, Facebook, who reaches out to 180 million.
Protzman added that this feature will also make it easier to reach younger demographics, unlike in the past. A local elementary has officially gone green. Humboldt Elementary School has added a greenhouse to their campus. The new conservatory was thought up by 6th graders, but made possible through a grant from the Heartland Health Foundation and volunteers from Home Depot. This spring, the fruits and veggies grown in the new space will be donated into the local community. Dana Gertner told us that it allows the kids to see their hard work benefit the community.
Something they wanted to do for their school and their community. We have really good kids that are really good. I mean, they want to do things to give back to their community and thought this was a good way of providing. We're hoping to have community members on board, families on board to help harvest and weed, and the more they're involved, the more the kids are going to want to be involved themselves.
Gertner stressed that the community is welcome to get involved or pick up produce from the greenhouse once it is officially up and running this spring. Prices are continuing to fall, and while that's saving you cash at the pump, some businesses aren't letting up on their delivery charges. Airline companies, in particular, added on a cost of fuel when gas prices were rising, but have yet to drop them as they continue to plunge. Other places that you can find an unwavering fuel surcharge include pizza places, moving companies, and florists. Local flower shop owner Dawn Marty told us she was forced to add a delivery fee to her company's services to keep up with the fuel surcharges of her suppliers.
We have been affected with higher freight rates and fuel surcharges, and call it what you want, but it all comes down to the same thing. They're trying to cover their cost of doing business as well. We have just in the last few months raised our rate, our delivery rate. So it took us quite a while before we said, okay, this is just gonna keep going up and up. If they went down and stayed down, then we would consider lowering our price.
Marty added that the delivery fee doesn't just go to the cost of gasoline, it also compensates for labor and vehicle upkeep.
It feels incredible. I mean, we've been working on this since 2009, and Tommy first envisioned the line in 2007. So it's been all-consuming in our lives since then, and it's pretty surreal to wake up this morning and have the climb complete.
Kevin, what was it like? Were there times in the middle of this you thought, you know what, this was a bad idea?
No, there were no times that I thought it was a bad idea. There were times that I questioned if I was going to be able to do it, but they never thought it was a bad idea. We were right where we wanted to be when we wanted to be there.
Tommy, I know you can't talk, but that's too bad, because I want to hear how you lost your voice. Was it from the exposure being out there for so long, or was it from all the celebrating and screaming with joy you did after?
I think it was mostly celebrating, a little bit of dehydration.
You've convinced us. You've lost your voice.
That is unbelievable. All
It
right.
was worth it. It sounds cool because of what you just did.
So, I mean, look, guys, you talked about the fact that this was no overnight thing. You have tried before. You have failed before. It took a lot of planning. It took a lifelong friendship between the two of you. Along the way, this is very slow, meticulous work. How do you keep your brain focused on a slow, meticulous, painstaking process?
Well, it starts with a goal, and if you want to achieve that goal or that vision or that dream, then focus isn't an issue.
Kevin, we've been joking here on the show this morning. We're looking at this picture, this very one that's on our screen right now, and it shows one of you guys with a Band-Aid on your finger. Is that all that you sustained, other than losing your voice? Was that the, sum of the injuries during this challenge?
Yeah, thankfully the worst injuries we had were slight cuts to our fingertips, which in the grand scheme of things with what we were doing up there, totally fine.
A little bit of insight into the communication between the two of you. How did that work? Is there a lot of chit-chat? Do you wait until you end a session? Is there communication about paths? Help us figure it out.
Yeah, in climbing vernacular, the sequence is called beta. And we constantly are exchanging beta for how to climb these pitches, these rope lengths up the wall. There's 32 of them. So while we're working on it, we're in constant communication of the different ways that work and don't work, and and cheering each other on while we're on our send effort.
More than 5,000 pounds of equipment was just sent to the International Space Station. And while most of it was normal stuff like food, equipment, even Christmas presents for the astronauts, some unusual items also hitched a ride to space.
And liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket with Dragon.
Fruit flies, those pesky bugs that drive you insane and seem to be just about everywhere, are now even in space. Apparently, the immune systems of the common fruit fly are similar to those of humans. By studying how fruit flies' immune systems respond to spaceflight, scientists hope to understand how microgravity environments affect our own bodies. Flatworms are now also in space. They are able to regenerate their own cells as they age or become damaged. Scientists want to see how this self-healing mechanism operates in microgravity, to understand how wounds heal in space. And roundworms. Scientists will be testing how roundworms respond to the salmonella virus. They hope to better understand how humans are susceptible to getting infections while in orbit. Now, not all things that were sent up were creepy and crawly. There was also an IMAX movie camera. Let's hope that footage is in 3D. This isn't the first time odd items have been sent to space. Astronauts are able to make requests and also bring personal items with them. Legos, fruitcakes, even props for a YouTube video have experienced constant freefall. Is it weird that I'm kind of jealous of a fruitcake?
My favorite Girl Scout cookie is the Thin Mint, Tagalong, Samoas, Savannah Smiles, because they're the most popular, and that if somebody breath stinks,
We're at the Cookie Rally today, which is like our cookie convention for girls to teach them how to rock their cookie business. We still have girls who do door-to-door sales, and it's actually the biggest part of our business.
we knock on a person's door and say, would you like to order some Girl Scout cookies? We won't go in the house or anything, because you won't know if they're trying to kidnap you or nothing, so you just wait outside.
One of the ways our girls sell cookies is to do cookie booths, and so they practiced making a cookie booth that would be attractive to customers, and so that's the first step in teaching girls marketing skills.
And then sometimes people will have a competition with each other. My troop leader, Miss Brooks, she'll take a picture of it and post it on Facebook.
We're so excited about Digital Cookie. This is our girls' opportunity to be e-commerce entrepreneurs. And so girls aren't asking customers face-to-face, but they're using their written communication skills to send emails to their customers to ask them to buy cookies. And so the Cookie program sponsors more than 10,000 girls who otherwise would not be able to afford to be Girl Scouts.
of the Republican senators who will have to deal with this when it gets there, was on the road in New Hampshire yesterday. If you think back, if you're old enough to remember, Ronald Reagan once talked about welfare queens, right? He thought there were people bilking the system, a lot of controversy for that. Listen to Rand Paul. He's campaigning in New Hampshire. He's Rand Paul, the Kentucky senator who is already gearing up to run for president in 2016, talking about people who he believes are gaming the disability system.
All of these programs, there's always somebody who's deserving, but everybody in this room knows somebody who's gaming the system. You know, what I tell people is, if you look like me and you hop out of your truck, you shouldn't be getting a disability check. We all know people who are horrifically disabled and can't work. But if you have able-bodied people taking the money, then there's not enough money left for the people who are truly disabled.
I'm sure there's a small percentage of people out there who are gaming the disability system, and I'm sure that there's a huge majority of people who get the benefits, who need the benefits. But I almost forget that for a second.
Right.
Why is a guy running for president with all the issues we face, whether it's taxes and spending, whether it's Medicare and Social Security, whether it's how to balance the budget or not to balance the budget, whether it's overseas threats? Why are we talking about this?
You know, I mean, this is part of what you've heard from some conservatives, this whole idea of takers, right? And you heard Mitt Romney in 2012 go there with the whole 47% remark, and that's what Rand Paul is doing there. He's appealing to a certain set of Americans who, you know, in some ways are playing grievance politics, and these are sort of white working class men and women who feel like there is this subset of the population that are takers, and they're taking advantage of the system and are a drain and a drag on the system and the budget.
That's the political reality, and Democrats have played that a bit too. That's why Bill Clinton signed the welfare reform law. The interesting thing about this is I think this is less of a dog whistle to African Americans, which is what you get with welfare queens. I think this actually is neighbor versus neighbor. I come from Michigan, spent all of December up in Michigan. There are people up there who complain about the fact that they know their neighbors, who happen to be white, are gaming the system. There are a lot of people out there who do know friends and relatives who are gaming the system, and I think Rand Paul's connecting them with that.